Hey Pamela, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking, Elijah. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite fine, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Awesome. And you see, Pamela, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things, and I do this so
Hmm.
often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Pamela, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, Pamela, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word
Hmm.
unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked
Hmm.
past it and I went my way. But you see, Pamela, just recently, I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's
Hmm.
changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my
Hmm.
attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately, I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did. And it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it. Beautiful green
Hmm.
leaves and healthy branches. Not just mangoes now, but ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely moment that day, I tell you. I was so, so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Pamela that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. That's why you see you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing. Your work, your insights, your philosophies, the impact your work is having, how you're offering your solution, they're amazing. And just before you got the text from me, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Pamela is doing, not only me now, but even the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Pamela. So thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you,
Thank you.
Elijah. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I
Awesome.
appreciate your words.
Beautiful. Thank you too. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in
Hmm.
order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. So, and ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so
Hmm.
keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very, very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Pamela on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, Pamela, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am
Hmm.
totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So, for that reason, Pamela, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey. Because right now, we're just so curious. We want to know how Pamela got here. Then, afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Pamela, over to you.
Wow, Elijah. Wow. Oh, thank you for such a lovely introduction. And, using the analogy of the mango tree, I really like that because, we don't all come into this world beautiful and attractive. Um, we come into this world and things happen to us that help us grow and help us develop, right? So for me in my life, what's defined me is that I have always been a person of being able to overcome obstacles. I'm here in America. I've been here 25 years now. That was an obstacle that I overcame as a 21 year old when I came, moving to a foreign land and rebuilding my life, right? Graduating, moving again after graduation, and finding and starting a new life. I've always been able to overcome life's challenges by maintaining resilience. And with my background in social work, my degree in psychology and sociology, I've always helped people and had a yearning to help people do the same, because I've found what disconnects us are the grievances that we feel when we have had challenges that have come up. Dealing with difficult people is something that disconnects us. And for me in my journey, typically what I've found is that by leaning in to grievances that or struggles that I've had, I've been able to turn that around and use that to help people. So with that, writing my book, How Do I Find Love After Heartbreak, which was about betrayal and abandonment, but it's a success story in itself of how do you manage to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward. So for me, it's about gaining knowledge to overcome obstacles so that you can help other people. I'm humble. I don't like talking about myself. I prefer talking about other people and helping other people. And I'll be honest in saying that. But in terms of to help other people, the best thing that I can say about me and my work is that I use my experiences of heartbreak and betrayal and abandonment in order to help other people overcome those very things and maintain more positively a happy outlook in life. Because it's not the fact that you get beaten down, it's how you rise from that situation and you keep going. And if you really are living life, you will experience some type of heartache or heartbreak. And it's how you're able to navigate that challenge of losing a job or being in an abusive relationship or dealing with a difficult coworker, family troubles. It's how you navigate that and move through the cycle of pain in order to grow and keep moving.
Beautiful words. Beautiful, profound, and powerful. It was as though you shouldn't stop talking. And you see, I tell you, I love what you're doing because you're creating a great positive impact in the world. Because I believe,
Thank you.
yeah, Pamela, there are several people out there who needs to hear this conversation, who needs to get a hold of your solution. And I said that because there are a lot of folks who are currently going through heartbreak, and for that reason now, they have placed a pause on everything in their lives. They wouldn't move forward. They wouldn't try to execute what they were born to do or try to do any positive thing now because the heartbreak and all that they went through has beaten them down. So when they get to listen to conversations like this now, that's more like bringing light into their darkness. So you see, I appreciate what you're doing, but I've got some questions. All right, are you ready for
Sure,
me? Okay, let's do
I'm
it.
ready.
So how do you move forward after heartbreak?
What I've found and what is really central to my core is having a spiritual practice, right? The first thing you do, because the spiritual practice is what will propel you through your circumstances when you feel that you want to give up. You can aspire to something beyond yourself that helps you keep going, right? But for the individual and for me, the first thing to do in order to make positive changes is to take control of what you can. And what you can take control over is how you feel about your circumstances and what you think. So just understanding that what has happened and accepting that, it gives you the power to move forward. So a mantra that I say to myself when, say for an example, excuse me, and of course this is probably not the biggest problem, but in terms of finances, it hit our wallet. I just picked up my car today from being in the shop because the locks were damaged and we couldn't get in and out of the car. And I knew it was going to be expensive, right? But instead of like emotionally blowing up, I accepted my circumstances. The first thing I said to myself is, this is the reality. And adopting that mindset put me in a position to then formulate a plan. Okay, how much is this going to cost? Let me work with the budget. What can go in? What can go out? When can I get this done? I was able to just go into a plan then and call them and then put the car in and figure things out and go from there. So oftentimes when I'm working with people, I always say, you have to take control first of what you can. And the first thing you take control over is your mindset, because this also helps with forgiveness and letting go. If you just say to yourself, look, I don't like what's happened. This is not fun, but look, this is the reality. This is what I'm dealing with. You take control of the situation then so that you can then make positive changes by developing a plan and then putting that plan into action.
Fine, I got that. Okay, I'm a bit curious here. What is the Ramoni method? I don't know if I pronounced that
I
well.
love that. I love that question. Well, the Ramoni method, and it's inspired by, the name Ramoni is inspired by Mary Magdalene, actually. When Jesus, after the resurrection, Jesus appeared to Mary Magdalene first, right? And when she saw him, she said, my Rabboni, which is my teacher. But I liked Ramoni. And when I looked up the word Ramoni and its meanings, it was about teachings, beauty, knowledge, acquiring knowledge, insight. I mean, it went with my message and me, right? So that was the inspiration for the name. But okay, so the Ramoni method is a healing method that I discovered throughout the journey of writing my book. And in black and white there, after writing my memoir, I began to see the series of steps that I naturally take that moved me from, a state of sorrow and depression all the way through to finding joy and maintaining happiness and a spiritual connection. And so being able to see this, I knew that, look, I have to put this out to the world to help other people too who are going through emotional struggles and emotional problems. So it's a series of steps from building a circle of support, releasing perfectionism, taking action, visualization, meditation, and adopting a self-care routine that helps an individual not just get to know themselves, but get to love themselves too, so that they can then love other people, right? That's the Ramoni method in a nutshell. And it's something that's what my unique approach that I use when I'm working with clients.
That sounds like a fantastic approach, and I love it. Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you,
Okay, let us talk about repressed emotions. How do repressed emotions cause physical pain?
On my journey, I've discovered that emotions, I believe that we're emotional beings that think, actually. Like our thoughts are the spark, so they're the ignition, but our emotions are the fuel, right? When you've looked throughout life, art, entertainment, sports, what drives it? What keeps it going? Like the emotion behind it, right? What you put into it. And having that much power, all of us in our core, I mean, that's who we are. Power has to go somewhere. It's just how life is. And when we don't release our emotions, they have to go somewhere. And they end up in our body through the energy centers that we all have, the 7 energy centers that we all have that have, you may know it as chakras, but in my work, I call them energy centers. They all have corresponding organs and also emotions on those centers. And so, for example, jealousy is more for the pineal gland. And if you're a person that seems to be jealous, and that's okay if you are, but not admitting it is what's bad, because then it's going to end up with headaches, sinus issues, that can generate to more serious issues with the brain, So that's how how they end up in the body and why it's important to release however you're feeling. Because here's the thing that I want people to understand. Emotions are our friend. They're not the enemy. You know what I mean? They are a friend. They're not the enemy. So that no emotion's bad. Like ones that people may feel are bad, like anger and rage, they are showing up as a warning to let you know, hey, there's discomfort to the system. Because underneath anger, there is always going to be another emotion underneath there. But it feels safer for people, to express anger and just lash out. But typically underneath there, someone's hurt. So if you're hurt, take time to check in with yourself. And this is free, this method. You can just write it out. Writing out your feelings is so powerful. How you feel about being slighted by a friend, how you feel about being overlooked for that promotion, how you feeling in your relationship, not being seen, right? Writing out how you feel about that is ultimately going to release them and prevent them from ending up as chronic pain. Because a lot of the people that I work with, if I am alerted to back pain, immediately my question is, well, okay, who made you feel unloved? And they about fall out of their chair. Or it's like, well, who betrayed you? And it's like, woof, that light bulb moment when they're thinking, well, wait, what made you ask that? So it's so powerful, really, really, really powerful. Our emotions are so powerful and they help fuel us and fuel life, but they also bring information when they end up in the body as an ailment.
Wow, I never knew that. Now we're just receiving this invaluable information for free. Thank you so much, Pamela. Amazing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay,
You're welcome.
lastly, what's your top insight about healing trauma?
My top insight about healing trauma. Oftentimes when we feel fear and we feel hurt, we want to isolate ourselves. It's the part of the brain, the amygdala, the left side amygdala, that's its job to keep us safe, right? And sometimes it will be overzealous and do that and shut us off. But that's just the antithesis then of actually healing. So it's important on the healing journey to build a circle of support. That's the foundation of the Ramoni method, because when you have a professional that can help you or a friend that can help you, somebody else that can provide insight and support from the outside, that will help you shift your perspective, which is learning. So it's so foundational to anybody's healing to have somebody who can support and help you along on the journey, because if you're stuck and trapped in your own thoughts and your own bubble, you're then likely to seek information that is going to confirm your biases so you won't get out of it. So the first thing you need to do is lean on support. And the second thing you need to do is acknowledge the self-doubt that you have, which is letting go of perfectionism. Because when you let go of perfectionism, it allows you to understand that, look, I'm just human and I made a mistake. And by making that mistake, I can make changes. You're less likely to stay stuck in the emotional turmoil that you're feeling when you have support and when you can self-reflect and say, look, I just made a mistake. Now, how do I move forward and make that mistake a better choice and make it better in my life?
Wow, I got that. That was a beautiful one. Okay, Pamela, to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed so far, make use of the Ramoni method, get your book and stuff like that, how can that be possible?
Sure. Well, I know in the world right now there's a lot of upheaval and it's scary in some quarters. But, on my journey, what I've learned is that if we believe in something beyond, and to me, that's Christ, having faith in the metaphysical world will ultimately bring you stability in this physical world. So it's very important to understand that, look, you are not alone, because for everything that you're going through right now, there is somebody else out there who is going through the same thing. Tap into Christ or whoever that person is for you in the metaphysical world, the universe, whoever that is for you, because Christ has helped me to keep going. Christ has provided me with insight. Christ has provided me with healing and healing words and gifts, not just to help myself, to help other people. So look beyond your circumstances and connect to something greater than yourself, because I'm telling you, it will help you as long as you remain committed to that. And also, my Ramoni method is all-encompassing a spiritual journey as well. And for more information about my Ramoni method, or if you'd like to continue the conversation, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm also at RamoniMinistries.com.
Beautiful. And that's why you're just so amazing. You see, when you give credit to God, I tell you, to me, it means you're such a great person. Those folks who say
Thank
they're
you,
expert
Elisha.
in this and expert in that, and they don't give credit to God, I just laugh. And I love
I
that
know.
part where he said, Christ is the King, and he is today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Jesus is Lord all the time.
Absolutely.
I tell you. So,
Absolutely.
so that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you so very much for coming, Pamela, and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Elisha. And you keep doing the special things that you're doing too, and keep being a light.
Thank you.